Exposing your dogs at a young age is critical, guys. To keep a stable natured dog, you've got to walk them like this, just at that young age there. No leads, no collars, no balls, no treats, no food. I don't need it. I don't need to bribe these dogs to do these very, very simple, natural behaviours. If I stop, pretty much these guys just start to stop. They're already getting the idea. If I go this way, they're going to follow. So again, this goes on the pack mentality thing. If these little puppies perceive me as another dog, then surely they'd be following these dogs. They wouldn't be following me. Whereas already you can see just these little tiny little guys here, just genetically, they're showing you what they're good at, what they can do, and it's natural. They find it very, very easy. Again, if I stop, these guys will stop. If I go this way, I'm not going to call them. I'm just going to walk this way. They'll soon click on. There, up has got the way, and they come here. That's perfect. Good boys. Don't make excuses for a puppy that's had a bad start, because a stable dog will always regenerate and recover regardless. So don't think if a puppy's had a bad start, then you should give it more leeway. Judge the dog in front of you. That works with a lot of dogs. I'm not saying you can't improve them, but if you're looking at getting a top-end personal protection dog or even a very stable pet dog, it's genetic. It's born there. It's born there. No matter what anybody tells you, yeah, you can get a good dog to be a great dog, and you can get an average dog to be a good dog, but to get a below par dog to be a great dog, so that's very difficult. Very difficult. It's a long road ahead. Just take your time when you're buying your puppies. That's the critical thing. We've had a few dogs in this week that have applied for the protection course, and they're simply not adequate. You know, the genetic makeup is weak. You know, they're timid, they're reserved, they're shy, they're reactive on impulse, and it's just not the right thing. This is definitely the right thing. And it's not just my puppies that do this. Any well-bred puppies will do this, you know, from lots of different breeds as well. So if the shepherd's not your thing, and the Doberman's not your thing, but you like cane corsos, for example, vet them, check the parents, check the puppies. You want stability. Not the puppy that's got the maddest drive and it's hanging off your trousers. Not the puppy that's sat in the corner so you feel sorry for it, it's shy. Not the biggest one, the most stable one. The stable dog, the character of the dog you'll fall in love with regardless. So tip from there is always pick a stable puppy from a stable breeding program. Don't jump in and buy something from someone that's just bred a hobby in the house, because they're great for pets probably, but not to work them. And if you're looking at a pet dog, again, avoid your high drive dogs. You know, they're not suitable for pet homes. They do need work. And if you bought a genetically insecure one and it needs the work, then you're pretty stuck again. You can't give the dog what he needs, because you're going to enhance them drives too much to make them too reactive. So you're actually going to get a worse dog at the end of it. So all training should be there to enhance what you buy, not change it so much, just enhance what you buy and decrease what you don't like. But if you've got a dog that's stable and it's been bred with the correct drives, then pretty much the sky's your limit. You know, you can really train a lot. You can go really far with a nice stable dog to start with. You don't need something phenomenal. You just want a base plate of a stable dog, non-reactive, not insecure, not timid, not shy, not nervous, you know, not overly keen on things either. Just something that takes everything in stride, and that's a great base plate to work from. After that, you want to be testing a bit of prey drive possibly and seeing the parents work, but the first step would be stability. Without stability, you're going to go down the road of masking behaviours, so diverting the drive into other things. And for me, that's not my preferred method, and it's definitely not a method I would include in a personal protection program. I think the dog should enjoy the work. I think the dog should find the work like a stress release, not a stressful job. They should enjoy it. You should enjoy it. Most importantly, you know, you bought the dog, you walk it, you care for it. Boys, come up. Good boys. Good boys. These little guys come to you. Good dog. Hey. Hector. Good dog. Good dog. Steady. Benji, you. Steady. Guess what? I've got these little three geezers somewhere. Where are they? There they are. Steady. So the trick to getting balanced dogs, recap it quickly, is walk them. Simple as that. Buy a nice, stable picture of a dog as a pup. Walk them daily. You don't have to go miles with puppies. Walk them daily. Let them do what they're good at, which is following. Max, leave. Let them do what they're good at, which is following. Give them rules and boundaries. Very important from day one. No excessive play. No excessive drives as such at the moment. And if there is, Hector, this way. And if there is, make sure it's on the right things, guys. Yeah, you don't want to see loads of drive because he's ragged your slippers, or loads of drive because he's on your dressing gown, or loads of drive because he's got a bow and he's growling at you. Look at them traits and think, would I be happy with that as an adult dog? I wouldn't be happy with that as an adult dog, so I stop it as a puppy because it's unwarranted. I don't need it. Yep. Amazing sunset as well. Good boys. Good boys. Steady. Good lads. My goal as a trainer is to make every client that comes to me, or try my best to, give them the dog they want and make them happy doing it. That's what we aim for. And if I'm selling somebody a dog, the idea is to sell them the dog they want and then progress it to the dog they really want as an adult. If you see a puppy that's inadequate as a breeder, don't push it out there, guys. A lot of this is from bad breeding. You know, somebody that just owns a couple of dogs and breeds them doesn't make him a good breeder. This is a good breeder. He's miles away. Hey, G, come up. Didn't need balls, didn't need treats. All these guys are here. You know, you do get a difference with the dog and the shepherd, but these are dogies. Good boys. They're a man, boy. Doesn't look sad. Ready? Doesn't look depressed. Just come back for a bit of praise. Good boy, Cam. How's you, Dan? Okay. If you can get your puppy to the point where you're walking them, you know, fair distance, not miles and miles, fair distance, off the lead, past distraction, and is more inquisitive on what you're doing than the distraction, at the age of around 12 to 14 weeks, you're doing really well. If you're using lures at that stage, you're not even uncovering the dog, guys. You're masking what you can't see the dog. You're just using food drive to cover up the natural desires that dog has. So it's very hard to pinpoint a puppy then and say what his weaknesses are. So you want to see him exposed. I like to see my puppies exposed to see what they're naturally good at and naturally not so good at. And then I can use things to enhance that and decrease that as I wish. But at the beginning stages, let the puppy be a puppy, but expose them. See what they're about. Test them. I don't mean test them with rattle bottles and rags and get them swinging off the ceiling. That's just not warranted at this stage. Test their environmental stability, their character, stability of their character. Stability, I would say, is easy to spot when you see how fast the little puppy recovers. Yeah, so if I take a puppy out of its environment, boys, come up. Big circle, typical Doberman circle, and back the puppy. Come on, good boys. So I would say it's easier to see when you take the puppy out of its environment and see how long it takes to recover. Good lad. So if you see that puppy stalls, hesitates, you know, really, really timid, insecure, not sure what to do, or shows aggressive nature, or like uses as a safety blanket, then I would say that puppy needs a lot of help and probably isn't eligible for personal protection work, because personal protection work, as horrible as it sounds, does imply pressure. It needs pressure. You need to put pressure on them dogs to see what they can take, what their threshold is, and advance them and condition them to bad people, you know, bad human beings that are there to do damage. So it does take pressure. So if you've got a naturally insecure dog or timid dog and you start to apply pressure, it will quickly learn that dog that to get out of pressure, they bite. That's what you try and teach them to do. They see pressure, or they perceive something as pressure or threatening, by biting it, they win. So it's a pretty simple game to communicate to the dog. But if you teach an insecure dog that and they perceive very mild stimulation as pressure, that's when they start biting. Now, there's a lot of trainers that will train them, and I don't. Not because I like to say no to people. It's the worst part of the job when somebody comes with a puppy that they love and adore, just like me with these guys, and you say, I'm ever so sorry, but your dog just isn't really cut out for the work. And it's really hard conversation to have. It never gets any easier. No matter how many years I do this, that is the worst part of my job, because you can see people are full of expectation. They're really excited to take this little puppy training, and they get let down, and they sometimes must feel like I don't like the dog, but it's not the case. The case is you're doing a very, very high level job. You're training the dog to do a major task, and it's got to be a responsible dog with a responsible handler. And it's not the best part, and it always falls back on the breeders. That's the point. You can't ruin a puppy in a week. When you buy a puppy 8-week-old, you can't ruin it in a week. It's impossible. It's literally, unless you whack it or something like that, which nobody does nowadays. You know, people seem to be generally pretty good with their dogs. So it's the breeder. It's all on the breeder. If you're breeding dogs that are weaker, you know, the security dogs and they're short nerve, the security dogs, doesn't mean to say that if somebody rings you and says, I want a PP dog, it does the job, because you know, and I know as breeders, a short nerve security dog is not a PP dog. Yeah, and I say short nerve because it's not nervous. I'm not saying short nerve because it's nervous. I'm not bashing that. A security dog is not a PP dog, and neither is a BP dog a security dog. They're not the same thing. A security dog's life is very different to a personal protection or family personal protection dog's life, and vice versa. I'm not saying they're better or worse. They're very different. And when you allocate homes for these dogs, you should allocate them in the right places. If you've got dogs that their parents in the police force, and you've got a breeder directly breeding for personal protection dogs, their stock will be so different. Yeah, they might look the same at 8-week-old, but their temperaments will be different. You know, a cop dog and a security dog being short-nerved is an asset. See something stimulation that's very mild, it's going to bark, it's going to spark up, it's going to alert you there's something there. Brilliant dog for the job. Brilliant dog for the job, never going to let you down. If you've got a PP dog the same, it's too sharp.